Hi, I'm Jennifer Foster, investor coach with Smart Plan Investing. Today we're going to talk about, with time and a little bit of discipline, how you can accumulate a great amount of wealth that you probably didn't even know was possible. So let's get started. Who wants to be a millionaire? What would you do with $1 million?
If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, will I buy you a house? I would buy you a house. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, buy you furniture for your house, maybe a nice Chesterfield or auto. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, will I buy you a kit car, a nice reliant automobile?
So, you're probably thinking the only way you're ever going to be a millionaire is if you win it, maybe on a game show or the lottery. Well, how many of you have gone out and bought the Powerball ticket? I think it's like $560 million. Well, your chances of winning the lottery is 1 in 175 million. So, the odds are not really in your favor. In 2015, there were 10.4 million millionaires in the U.S. Millionaires in the U.S. is 1 in 32. So, how do millionaires get all that money? Well, more than 1/3 of millionaires, they own their own businesses. Over 1/3 of millionaires have professional practice or work in the corporate world. Only 20% of millionaires inherited their wealth. So, who wants to retire? And what kind of lifestyle do you want when you retire? Experts have estimated that you're going to need 70% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your standard of living. Do you expect that the lifestyle that you dream about to be 30% less expensive than your current lifestyle? Dan Ariely, professor of economics and behavioral sciences at Duke University's research indicates that people will actually need 135% of their final income to live the way they want to in retirement. So much more. Fewer than half of Americans have calculated how much they're going to need to save for retirement. The average American spends 20 years in retirement. That's a long time. One in 5 Americans plan to retire before the age of 65. So you want to retire sooner, and how are you preparing for that? How do you think you're going to get there? Did you know that more than 30 million Americans, they expect that they're going to rely primarily on Social Security, even though 56% of them admit they don't even have a good understanding of Social Security benefits. The truth about Social Security is that the benefits will only pay on average about 40% of what you earned before you retired. Even though you pay into Social Security, it might not be there when you retire. The human body doesn't get less expensive as we age either. So, the average lifetime healthcare expenditures, $316,000+. For men, over $268,000 they're going to spend in their lifetime on healthcare. And for women, it's over $361,000. It's a lot of money. Do you think you're going to retire comfortably? If you answered no, you're not alone. 37% of people are not confident that they will retire comfortably. Why do people feel this way? Many of us are not saving enough, and we're not seriously prepared for retirement. 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Only 40% 48% have tried to calculate what they're going to need for retirement. 28% of workers say they have less than $1,000 saved for retirement. 54% of workers say that their total value investments is less than 25%. 50% of Americans have less than 3 months expenses saved. 28% of Americans say that they have no savings at all. So why are we in this position? Well, you got to pay for college, and then you graduate, and then you start a family, and then you start buying cable, cell phones, computers, diapers, all these things, and we just figure we'll catch up later. Well, you might, but it gets a lot harder. So let's take a look at this chart, talking about the benefits of investing early. So investor A is in the navy blue. Investor A started saving $100 at age 23, invested that $100 a month for 10 years, and stopped. So investor A's total contributions was $12,000. With an assumed rate of return of 8%, investor A's investment grew to almost $250,000. But let's look at investor B. Investor B thought, I'll catch up later, and started at 35 and invested that same $100 a month at the same 8% return. And as you can see, that $36,000 that they invested never even caught up to the investor A, who only invested for 10 years. So investor B invested a lot more money for a lot longer time, but they never caught up. So when you're not saving, you are spending, and you're building potentially disastrous habits. So what are we spending our money on? Well, the Department of Labor says that we're spending about 34% of our income on housing, 17.6% on transportation. And if you look at contributions in purple and insurance and pensions in green, that's a total of about 14% going to different insurances and investments. That might not be enough to get you there. But we're also spending a lot on personal care, health care, miscellaneous items, entertainment, alcohol, food. Starbucks, anyone? The average Starbucks customer visits 6 times per month. I know for some of you, that might be per week. The average customer spends $46 a month on coffee, over $550 per year on Starbucks. Breaking bad habits, that's the hard part. And you think, well, I'm never going to be a millionaire. But you can do it. And it doesn't have to hurt that much. So we're going to look at the magic of compounding. This is where the interest you earn on your money earns interest. And you'd be surprised of how much that money can grow over time. So let's just assume you start investing $100 a month at age 25 at an annual rate of return of 12%, you can accumulate $1.188 million. Well, let's just say you wanted to invest even more, $150, starting at age 25, $1.7 million. And if you're really disciplined and you want to invest $50 a week or $200 a month at age 25, your investment would be over $2 million. Well, let's just say, well, you waited a little longer than 25 to start investing. That's okay too. $200 a month. At age 30, for a total of $84,000 invested, And let's say you only received a 9% return. That's over $500,000 that you would accumulate. So as you can see, it's not impossible. A little bit of discipline and time on your side, and you can create great wealth. So let's put this into perspective. Most 401k plan contributions come out pre-tax. So if you save 10%, it actually feels like more like you're like 7%. That's all good, but you can do even better than that. So there's this rule of thumb that you should invest a minimum of 10% of your salary. So that should be your goal to start out with, but you don't have to stop there. You can actually increase your investments by 1% every year and save even more. So the screen we're looking at right now is if you were to save 1% more, and this person starts with an annual income of $50,500. So by increasing 1% every year over 16 years, he increases his savings by $268,000+. Who wouldn't want a little extra money in retirement? As your salary grows, both your paychecks and your contributions grow. So let's just say you make $30,000 and you contribute 10%. That's $3,000 a year. In 30 years, you could have accumulated, well, let's look, 5%, over $199,000 would have accumulated. If you got a 7% return on your money, $283,000+. And with the 10% rate of return, almost $500,000. Let's say you make $60,000 and you're going to invest 10% of your income for a total of $6,000 a year. So over 30 years, various rates of return, you can see how that your money can accumulate. So 5% return, almost $400,000. And with a 10% return, you're almost a millionaire. See, it can happen. You can do it. You probably aren't going to save your way to $1 million. You're going to have to save and invest your money. So we follow 3 simple rules to investing. Own equities, that means stock in companies. Diversify globally, because half of the world's economy is outside of the US. And utilize a technique we call rebalancing. You need a diversified portfolio. So what does that look like? Well, this is a 75% equity portfolio, 25% fixed, meaning 75% of the portfolio is invested in stocks, in companies, which you have partial ownership of. The 25% fixed income, that's your safe money. That's your U.S. Treasuries, and there's some cash in there and stuff. And the more fixed income you put in a portfolio, the less volatile it is. But then you can also expect with less volatility, less return. So that's an example of what a well-diversified portfolio looks like. It's invested in over 16,000 unique holdings in 21 distinct asset categories in 45 countries. I know what I need. How do I do it? Well, glad you asked. 401ks and IRAs are the most common vehicles. What does your employer offer in retirement benefits? Now, are you going to be the next Bill Gates or Oprah? Probably not. However, $1 million is a possible number for many people. This shows 71 ways to become a millionaire. So Along the left-hand column are different amounts of monthly contributions, and along the bottom are a listing of ages. So if you started at 30 years old and invested $200 a month, then you're with a 12.04% return, your money could grow to over $1 million. Let's say you waited till you were 35. You would need to invest $400 a month. If you waited till you were 40, you would need to invest $600 a month. If you waited till you were 45, you would have to invest over $1,000 a month. But if you start at 20, you only have to invest $100 a month to have the possibility to become a millionaire. But as you can see, there's 71 ways you can become a millionaire. 56% of workers have less than 25% invested. So as you can see, there's only 4 possibilities here that don't beat the $25,000. So you can take yourself out of the equation of the 56% of Americans that have less than $25,000. So you're going to be a millionaire. Now what? Now your million can start paying you. At a modest 5% return on your $1 million, it can give you an annual income of $50,000. With a 7% return, your $1 million can give you an annual income of $70,000. Plus whatever Social Security you will have. Your hard work has paid off, and now you can retire comfortably. It's never too soon to start. Every dollar counts and every year counts, as we have seen. With time and discipline and a globally diversified, long-term, lifelong strategy, it is possible to become a millionaire. So, if you had $1 million, what would you do?